Alright, and now it's the time to actually install a checkpoint in a virtual platform. We're going to be using VMware Workstation 15. I highly recommend, apart from checkpoint, you install another machine to basically represent your internal network that is placed behind your checkpoint. Something you can test with and play around to see if the traffic is going, between them, to see if you can actually block the traffic to a certain machine, and so on. I'm gonna be showing you exactly that. So first, let's install our checkpoint machine. And in order to do so, here's our general page. We go for right click in the left tab here, and we go for new virtual machine. Okay. We see welcome to a new wizard. What type of configuration do we want? Is it a typical or a custom one? Honestly, let's go for typical. No big deal here. The first thing they ask us is to provide an image, our ISO. That's what we have. We have downloaded previously, and I have it on my desktop. And let me do that. Okay, it's right here. Checkpoint R80.40. It's saying it's not able to detect my operating system, and I will do it myself. So what do you choose? You go for Linux, and you can choose Red Hat 5. Red Hat 5 Linux 64-bit. You can choose that. It will work just fine. As far as I remember, you can also choose Linux 2.6 kernel. It will work as well. I haven't done it for a while, so I'm gonna stick to Linux Red Hat 5 64-bit. Then go for next, and virtual machine name, I'm gonna do standalone, because this is exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have my gateway capabilities and management capabilities combined. You choose the location. It's your preference where you want to store that on your PC. Alright, so here the disk size. First of all, we're gonna store it in a single file. No need to split it into multiple files. The thing about checkpoint in real production, I do recommend you give it as much disk size as you can. We can speak about it a lot, why you need that. First of all, you need to store logs, especially on management server, and you just need that, okay? In your lab environment, just give it at least 30, maybe 40. It depends on how long you want to test that virtual machine. But the more you give it, the better. So I will give 30. Then click next, and over here we can customize our hardware. This is where it gets fun. Okay, first of all, we've checked minimal requirements, and they ask us to have minimum 8 GB of RAM. This is exactly what I'm gonna do. As for the processor, I guess cores will work just fine. If I say, let's say I have 2 processors and each of them has 2 cores, I believe system will take it as for CPUs. Do I want to use that? I've seen people use it. I've seen people don't. It's really up to you whether you want to virtualize Intel technology into your workstation. VMware Workstation. I'm gonna leave it by default. I'm gonna leave it unchecked. And over here is our ISO. Alright, so as for the network adapter, we're gonna have 2 of them, because remember from our topology we have external interface facing the internet, and we have internal one leading to our internal network. So we're gonna add another one. We're gonna go for add and go for network adapter. Alright, so now we have 2 of them, right? And that's the funny thing. What exactly I want to use, right? What exactly I want to use. Okay, network adapter 2 will be our private network. And as for the private network, I want to use my LAN segment. This is my local LAN segment. To create this, go for LAN segment, add, and create, let's call it private network. Private network, click OK, and choose here. When we create a second virtual machine, our Windows machine behind our firewall, it's gonna have only one interface, and it's gonna have LAN segment with the same segment. It's gonna have private network, so they will be interconnected with that adapter. So, and as for the first one, honestly, it's not really much difference what we do here. Right here we can choose either a bridge network or a NAT network. In terms of firewall, in terms of the routing the traffic, it doesn't really matter. The only difference here, if we choose bridge network, it's gonna we will basically assign an address from our local network, same as our host machine from my laptop, and we will have access from our host machine. But if we use NAT, we will still be able to route traffic to the internet, but we will not have a connection from our host machine because the traffic will be NATed. Same as the traffic gets NATed when we try to go to the internet, it's being NATed by our router somewhere, in a closet. Alright, two options here, NAT and bridged. We choose NAT if we want to manage our gateway from our internal local subnet, from where we have that access. If we use bridged, it's cool if we want to manage that from our host machine. What I mean by that, remember the FAT client, Smart Console, we have to install to manage our management server. In our particular instance, our standalone machine, we can install it on our host machine, on my laptop, and have access to my virtual machine through the bridged interface. And this is exactly what I'm gonna be doing. And if I chose that, I could be using it if I install another machine and interconnect them. I know it might seem a little bit confusing, but it's actually not, and I want to show you that interconnection with these interfaces that we have in VMware. So look, if we choose bridged, we will have our virtual machine connected to our host without any problem, back and forth. It can be connected with other virtual machines through bridged interface, and with the internet as well. If we have NAT address, we are not able to connect with our host machine. This is the problem. So we're going to be using bridged to connect to our Smart Console from our host. But if you want to create another virtual machine where you will have Windows installed, you can use something else. You can use anything else that can interconnect your virtual machines.